A 2024 study in consciousness and cognition found that people who intuitively live by the 7 universal laws, which are a set of guiding principles that describe the nature of the universe and how it operates, like the law of attraction, the law of cause and effect, and the law of vibration. Well, their brains are literally more in tune with reality because it's been shown that they have 27% stronger alpha brainwave coherence, which is the same state as top athletes when they're in their zones. This strengthens their ability to have higher pattern recognition so they can spot opportunities others may miss and reduce mental noise, leading to less overthinking and more aligned actions. But the majority of people, they've got it all wrong because they're not using these laws right. But today, we're going to change that. Hi, I'm Christy, a board-certified nurse practitioner, health coach, and trauma survivor. And this is Trauma Free, where I help you change your mind and change your life, just like I did. And today, I'm breaking down the 7 universal laws using neuroscience, psychology, and real-world data to show you how to work with your brain, not against it. So let's get into it. Law 1, the law of mentalism. The universe is mental because your thoughts shape your reality. What if I told you that the single most powerful force shaping your life isn't fate, money, luck, or even talent? It's your mind. That's the foundation of the law of mentalism. All is mind because the universe is mental. And a study from Harvard Medical School used MRI scans to measure how intentional thoughts impact the brain. And after just 8 weeks of daily focused thinking, participants had physically reshaped their neural circuits, which is called neuroplasticity, your brain's ability to rewire itself based on what you consistently think, feel, and believe. So in other words, your thoughts don't just influence your brain, they sculpt it. So if you're constantly telling yourself, I'm not good enough, your brain will literally align to that belief by shrinking the circuits for confidence and strengthening the ones for fear, doubt, and hesitation. This is what makes self-fulfilling prophecies real because of the Rosenthal effect, which showed when teachers were told certain students were gifted, even though in reality those names were randomly selected, by the end of the school year, those students scored 15% higher on standardized tests because the teachers' beliefs changed how they treated the students, and those beliefs became behavioral expectations that influenced their performance. I know what you're thinking, and the students didn't change. The way they were seen did. So if you change how you see yourself, your life will rise to meet that image because it's been found that people who practice daily affirmations saw a 42% increase in goal achievements and emotional resilience, since affirmations shift the default narrative in your brain, activating the reward centers that drive motivation and focus. If you say things like, I'm always broke, I can't trust anyone, or nothing even works out for me, you may think you're just venting, but your brain thinks you're giving it instructions. So it gets to work, filtering out opportunities, ideas, and people who don't match that internal narrative. But you can rewrite this program and rewire your reality by starting a mental diet. Just like you wouldn't eat junk food all day and expect to feel amazing, you can't feed your brain toxic thoughts and expect success. So replace I'm unlucky with opportunities are always finding me. I'm stuck to I'm evolving every day. And I don't know how with I'm figuring it out. Because even if you don't believe it yet, your neurons are listening. Also, you can use cognitive reframing. By shifting your meaning, you shift your outcome. So if you would usually say, I failed, then say I learned something valuable. Or I'm not good at this, to I'm becoming better at this. Because it's been found that students who reframed failure as growth improved their problem-solving abilities by 31%, proving that words do matter. Because words wire our brains. I like to start my day with one empowering thought that I say aloud, like, today I'm in alignment with who I'm becoming, and my thoughts are creating a beautiful life. Your outer reality is nothing more than a mirror of your dominant inner thoughts. So if you want to change what you see out there, you got to start from the inside. Your beliefs are not just passive ideas. They are the instructions your brain uses to build your life. And with conscious, consistent thoughts, you can rewrite those instructions and create a future that's aligned with your true self. Law 2. The law of correspondence. As within, so without. As above, so below. So just to confirm, you don't attract what you want. You attract what you are, because your outer world is a mirror of your inner world. Your life doesn't reflect your goals. It reflects your programming, especially the subconscious parts you haven't even recognized. Your brain filters to match your beliefs with the reticular activating system, or RAS. It's a tiny, powerful part of your brainstem that basically is your reality gatekeeper. It filters out millions of pieces of data every second and highlights only what aligns with your subconscious beliefs. Let's say your inner belief is, I'm not good enough. Your RAS will spotlight every subtle rejection, every side eye, every setback, and it'll ignore praise, love, or opportunities that contradict that narrative. Because your brain doesn't care about what's true. It cares about what it's accustomed to. So when your internal world is used to feeling fear, shame, or unworthiness, you'll see those patterns everywhere, even if they're not actually happening. For instance, people with anxiety interpret neutral facial expressions as hostile 62% more often than non-anxious individuals. And this is called projection bias. So you're not just seeing people's behavior, you're seeing your past wounds projected onto present circumstances. You're living in a past moment, expecting it to repeat. So you may keep changing your job, you leave a relationship, or you move somewhere else, and you revamp your goals, but your life keeps repeating the same patterns because your internal narrative hasn't shifted. So your external reality will find new ways to mirror the same old beliefs with different characters and the same old story. But you can change this by using the mirror method. So when something triggers you or drains you, ask, what is this reflecting back to me? That controlling boss might mirror your own inner critic. That toxic ex might reflect your unresolved attachment wounds, and that lack of opportunity could reveal a deep belief that you're unworthy of abundance. The mirror doesn't lie, and it can really show you what you need to work on. Also, using a nervous system reset is a simple method to use if your world feels chaotic. Pause and do this. Put your hand over your heart and breathe in for 4 seconds and out for 6. And say, I am safe in this moment, which tells your amygdala or the fear center of your brain to calm down. And then your perception can update to match the present and not the past. Did you know that energy is contagious? Because it's been shown that our mirror neurons, which are brain cells responsible for empathy, automatically mimic the emotions and energy of those around us. So if your internal world is in a disarray, you'll attract people that match the same frequency because you teach the world how to treat you by the energy you bring to it. Law 3, the law of vibration. Everything vibrates, nothing rests. You are a walking frequency. Your thoughts, your emotions, and your beliefs, they all carry a vibrational signature, a signal your body emits and the universe responds to. This isn't just spiritual theory, because everything is energy at the subatomic level. Everything is in constant motion. Atoms don't sit still. They vibrate, oscillate, and resonate, which includes the chair you're sitting on, the words you're hearing, and the thoughts you're thinking. And your emotions emit frequencies too, because your emotional state changes your vibration. And incredibly, your vibration also changes your biology, because when you feel fear or anger, your brain signals a fight or flight response. Cortisol and adrenaline flood your system. Your heart rate increases and your energy becomes chaotic and maybe even erratic. But when you feel gratitude or joy, dopamine and oxytocin are released. Your heart rhythm becomes coherent, your immune system strengthens, and your brain functions more clearly. Because emotions like appreciation regulate over 1,400 biochemical reactions in your body. Here's where it gets even wilder. The Heart Math Institute discovered that when you enter a state of heart coherence produced by emotions like love, gratitude, and peace, your immune function improves, decision making becomes more precise, and gene expression is positively influenced. So you literally become a different person at the molecular level by shifting your emotional frequency. Amazingly, your heart emits an electromagnetic field that can be measured up to 3 feet outside your body. And guess what? Others can feel it too, even if they don't know what they're feeling, because it's been found that professionals who consistently express high vibration emotions like optimism, gratitude, and curiosity are 3 times more likely to attract new opportunities, 4 times more likely to get promoted, and 2.5 times more likely to experience job satisfaction. So stop saying things like, once I get that job, then I'll feel confident. Once I'm loved, then I'll feel worthy. Or once I'm in a better place, then I'll be happy. Because the law of vibration says you can't wait to feel good. You must feel it first, before the evidence shows up. Because your frequency is the cause and your reality is the effect. Think of it like a radio. You can't hear the music of 98.5 if you're tuned in to 88.3. You have to match the signal of the experience you want before you can receive it. So use vibe priming every morning by spending just 2 minutes visualizing the version of you who already has the thing you want. Because your brain doesn't know the difference between real experiences and vivid imagination. And MRI scans show that visualization activates the same neural circuits as actual performance. So when you imagine being loved, walking into your dream home, or speaking with confidence, you're really rewiring your nervous system to hold that vibration. And your vibration is the signal that creates your next experience. Also, you can try sound frequency therapy. In physics, cymatics shows how different frequencies cause matter like sand to arrange in geometric patterns. At 432 Hz, the sand forms soft harmonious shapes, and at 528 Hz, which is the miracle tone, the shapes become complex and healing. So play 528 Hz while you journal, meditate, or visualize to let your body tune to that frequency, because sound shifts structure. Lastly, use the 3-minute joy reset. This is a neuroscience backed tool you can use anytime you feel low vibe. Just think of one moment you're deeply grateful for. Close your eyes, relive it fully. Sights, sounds, and even feelings. Then stay with that memory for just 3 minutes, because this activates the same reward circuitry as receiving cash or praise, because you don't attract what you want. You attract what you're a vibrational match for. So if you want peace, don't chase it. Practice being it. If you want love, don't beg for it. Radiate it. And if you want abundance, don't just affirm it. Align with it. Because your vibe isn't just your mood. It's your broadcast signal. And the universe is always listening. Law 4. The law of polarity. Everything has its opposite. Opposites are identical in nature, but different in degree. This law reminds us that contrast is not just part of life, it's the creator of meaning. Love and hate, hope and despair, right and left. They're not separate experiences. They're the same energy expressed as different frequencies. Just like hot and cold are both temperatures, pain and power are both forces of transformation. You wouldn't know joy without sorrow. You wouldn't recognize strength if you hadn't felt weak. In polarity, every experience carries its opposite within it. Because 67% of trauma survivors report positive psychological changes, such as greater appreciation for life, stronger relationships, increased personal strength, spiritual development, and deeper purpose after trauma, due to the phenomenon of post-traumatic growth that proves that pain isn't just something to survive, it's something that can transform you. But this only happens if you allow the differences to teach you and not define you. According to the anti-fragility theory, you become stronger through strain because fragile things break under pressure. Resilient things survive pressure, but anti-fragile things, they grow from pressure. And that's you. So if you stop running from your pain and start using it as a catalyst, just like your muscles rebuild and are stronger after stress, your mind and spirit can be too. So if you label contrast as bad, like thinking a breakup equals failure, or a health scare equals punishment, or a financial setback equals shame, this mindset discounts polarity because pain isn't the opposite of purpose, it's often the path to it. Think about this. What if your breakdown was actually your breakthrough? Instead of saying, "Why is this happening to me?" try saying, "What is this challenge revealing in me that ease never could?" This simple reframing doesn't just bring comfort, it activates neuroplasticity because shifting your interpretation of struggle builds higher stress tolerance, increases problem solving ability, emotional agility, and hopeful future thinking. Think of it like this. Light isn't the absence of darkness, it's what darkness makes possible. So the next time you're faced with obstacles, use it. Let it sharpen your clarity, let it expose your truth, and let it pull out the potential in you that comfort could never reach. Law 5. The Law of Rhythm. Everything flows in and out. All things rise and fall. There's a pulse to the universe. It breathes, it expands, and it contracts. Just like the tides in the ocean, just like your lungs, and just like your life. Every emotion, every season, every cycle you go through, it's not random. Life has a rhythm, and the people who thrive aren't the ones who resist the rhythm. They're the ones who learn to ride the wave, because life moves in cycles. So don't panic in the dip and don't cling to the peak. The power is learning the pattern. Your body runs on biological cycles called ultradian rhythms, which are 90-minute cycles of heightened focus, followed by natural dips in energy. So when you push past your natural rest points, you don't achieve more. You actually sabotage yourself. Because when you're in rhythm, you flow, you have clarity and energy. But when you're out of rhythm, cortisol spikes, you get burnout and brain fog. In fact, resisting your body's rhythm increases anxiety by 28%, contributing to decision-making errors by 31%. Think about how nature operates in cycles, so why shouldn't you? The moon waxes and wanes. Plants go dormant before blooming, and bears hibernate and emerge rested and stronger. But when we feel low, tired, or less motivated, we call that lazy. You shouldn't judge yourself for needing rest. Even manifestation has a rhythm. You visualize, take aligned action, you wait, let go, receive it, then reset. So that waiting period, that's not nothing happening. It's the soil preparing your next harvest. And you should utilize this law to enhance your manifestation energy because productivity rises by up to 50% when people align their work with their natural rhythm. So try the wave mapping method, where you track your personal rhythm for 7 days and determine when do you feel most focused, drained, inspired, and restless. When you have high mental energy, do the hard stuff. And for low mental energy, do less taxing work like reflecting, walking, and resting. That way, you'll learn to create when you're in flow and restore when you're in ebb. So learn to ride the waves in your life. Honor your seasons and trust your next high always begins in the low. Law 6. The law of cause and effect. Every cause has an effect. Every effect has a cause. You don't get what you want. You get what you create. And what you create always begins in a cause, a thought, a choice, a micro action, even a moment of awareness. Your brain is wired to seek patterns and build pathways. Every thought or behavior repeated enough becomes a neural groove or a roadmap your brain chooses again and again. This is shown in Hebb's law, which states neurons that fire together wire together, which basically means the strengthening of connections is a key mechanism behind learning and memory formation, and also the basis of neuroplasticity, the brain's ability to reshape itself through behavior. So if your results aren't changing, the causes probably aren't either. We know that rewarded behaviors repeat, and this is the foundation of operant conditioning, which states that tiny reinforcements shape our habits far more than willpower, because 76% of long-term results didn't come from intense effort, but from small, consistent actions. Most people wait for a breakthrough to take action, motivation to hit before moving, a sign from the universe before deciding, but that's not how the law works. Cause comes first, effect comes second, not the other way around. You don't act because you're inspired. You feel inspired because you acted. And if you need help getting started, use the 1% rule by committing to improving just one small thing per day. This triggers the compounding effect, a concept from finance now proven in neuroscience, because people who focused on daily micro improvements increased their long-term goal achievement by 38% compared to those who waited for bigger breakthroughs. Use this cause stacking formula by using the 2-minute rule. So start any habit with just 2 minutes. That's it. Read 1 page, write 1 sentence, walk 1 block. Reward the start, not the outcome. Then celebrate the act of showing up, because your brain loves rewards. Dopamine is released not when you achieve, but when you anticipate reward. Then keep repeating it, because with that consistency, it turns your effort into your new identity. So if you want a different effect, create a different cause. You don't need to take a leap, you need to take a step, because every 1 degree of change today will set you on an entirely new course by the next season. Law 7. The law of gender. Everything contains masculine and feminine principles, which means manifestation requires both structure and surrender. And this isn't about gender, it's about energy, and more importantly, balance. Every dream, decision, or creation in your life was born from a union of 2 forces. Masculine energy, which is logic, the act of doing, direction, structure, and execution, and feminine energy, which is intuition, creativity, receptivity, nurturing, and flow. When these 2 are in harmony, you can build effortlessly. When they're out of sync, you burn out, stay stuck, because it's shown that optimal creativity and decision making happen when the left and brain hemispheres are activated together. The left brain, which is the masculine and has to do with logic, sequence, language, and planning. And the right brain, which is feminine and has to do with intuition, imagination, and emotional wisdom. When they are integrated, creative problem solving improves by 50%. This is why you can't just think your way into a new life. You have to also feel your way into it by taking aligned action. So if your masculine energy is in overdrive, you are constantly striving, which causes cortisol spikes, chronically doing something, which causes nervous system dysregulation, and obsessing over outcomes, which causes adrenal fatigue. But when you intentionally access your feminine state through rest, trust, or stillness, your body responds differently, because oxytocin rises, inflammation decreases, and your parasympathetic or your healing nervous system activates, because restorative states have been shown to reduce stress markers by 45% in just 20 minutes. And people with balanced thinking patterns that regularly shift between logic and intuition earn 34% more over their lifetime. So if you're forcing, you're using too much masculine. And if you're floating, you're using too much feminine. But when you marry the 2, your manifestation becomes aligned. So now that you know how to work with your energy instead of against it, you can break the cycle, rewire the pattern, and realign your power, because these 7 laws have always been working, but now you can make them work for you. And your thoughts will align with truth, your emotions will align with trust, and your actions will align with purpose. So you can stop reacting to life and start reprogramming it. Let me know in the comments which of the 7 laws are you ready to realign with. And if this resonated, Like, share, and subscribe to Trauma Free, where I help you rewire your brain, reclaim your story, and manifest the life you were meant for. And until next time, take care.